Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Political Retrograde. I have Elizabeth here with me.
Hello, everyone.
So today we're going to do something a little bit different. It's not a politically inspired crime that we're going to cover. Elizabeth and I had been talking about how Iowa Attorney General Brenna Bird had created a deck of cards of cold cases for Iowa. And we'd kind of thrown out the idea of covering those, but then we both saw that Law and Live is covering all of the Iowa cold cases already, and she's doing a great job.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that she's giving it attention. But we did want to cover one cold case from Iowa that happened where we grew up.
Mhm.
And yeah, I don't know. We might just keep doing that or once in a while, do a cold case here and there and mix in political. It's really up to Elizabeth, whatever she wants to do.
No pressure. Yeah, no, I think this one is really important to us because it's so close to where we spent the first 20 years of our lives.
Mhm.
And just the fact that it's never been solved. When anytime I would like growing up, I would go to the dentist or take my dog to the vet or any of those things. We passed by the memorial site for this. And so growing up, this woman lost her life 5 years before I was even born. So growing up and just seeing this gigantic rock with all the flowers and the love around it, it's definitely, I think, important to me and you to both know, just as true crime fans and local members of the community, like what happened there and give it the attention and the respect that it deserves.
Yeah, I agree. And it's interesting to see that every day. It kind of becomes part of your life until you get old enough to, because this happened when I was 6.
Yeah.
So it's kind of you go by the highway enough times and you start asking questions like, well, what is this? And
Yeah.
yeah.
I remember my mom like trying to explain it, but how do you explain it to a little kid when there's no resolution, there's no
Yeah.
ending, there's no peace for the family?
Right. So I want you to go through the timeline of events, but I
Mhm.
did want to point out to the viewers. So unless you're from a rural area, like you don't understand how small the area is. Like when I lived in Austin, Texas, I'd be sending like Snapchats back to people like, this is the road I'm on. Do you see any houses? So the location of this was, which I'm sure you'll go into it too, basically a main stop in between a bunch of small towns. And so in 1992, New Hampton, Iowa had a population of 4,045 people, and they had 113 people in their graduating class. Nashua had a population of 1,509 people with 49 graduates that year, and Fredericksburg had a population of 986 people with 56 graduates that year.
Wow.
Yeah, so the population of Fredericksburg, like some people's graduating class is that size. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
it's
No, that's exactly right. When I tell people my graduating class, they're like, "What? I didn't even know." Like, there's people at graduation I didn't even recognize, and I'm like, I knew everybody's first and last name, date of birth, and their siblings, and probably
yes,
their social security number because it's that small.
yes, and I think that that's why it's so important that people pay attention to what the locals are saying about these cases, because when everybody knows everybody, sure, there's the rumor mill. However, there's a connection that the people in these small populations have with each other that someone in a large city is not going to have.
Yeah. And as like, and especially in Iowa, especially as it gets colder, like the beginning of September is kind of when fall starts to really take hold. Um, there's not a lot to do. And so
Mhm.
people talk. People
Yeah,
talk a lot. And I think if it's really important to listen when people are talking on their own accord.
absolutely. All right. Do you want to
Yeah.
go through the timeline for us?
Yes. So So at the time, Rhonda Knudsen was a 20-year-old Iowa woman working at an overnight shift at a Phillips 66 convenience store and truck stop near Williamstown. This was not actually a town. It was more of a a township.
Mhm.
Um, so there wasn't this wasn't a full town. It was basically just this gas station off of Highway 63 and 346.
Mhm.
She was working the overnight shift. Like I said, she was a 22-year-old woman. Her shift was from 9 p.m. to 5 a.m. So she would have been the only one working at this time. No one else would have been scheduled to come to the store until the next morning when they came for the shift. So the
Yeah.
store owner arrived about 4:45 a.m. and found her in a back room. The medical, they called the police, all of that. As the police put together the timeline, they found that at 9 p.m. she got to work. The truck stop was open 24 hours. So sometime between 9 p.m. in the early morning, the cash register had shown that she had handled dozens of transactions during the shift. Between 2 and 3 a.m., there were several unidentified people who had reportedly been seen at or near the store during this period. Witnesses said that at least one man, believed to be a truck driver, had been present. Authorities eventually developed composite sketches from witness descriptions. Because her body was found at 4:45 a.m.,
Mhm.
the only way they can actually piece together some kind of a timeline, especially because it's 1992 and their cameras aren't a thing.
Right.
Um, they had to look at the transaction history of the cash registers. So they found that she was alive, most likely till at least around 3 a.m. So that helped narrow down the attack, because if she was alive till 3 a.m. and the store owner got there at 4:45 a.m., that
Mhm.
only leaves, an hour and 45 minutes. So there's not, I mean, that's really kind of the timeline, is just between
Yeah.
3 and 4:45. We know she got there at 9. We know these transactions were handled, and then we know that the owner who called it in was at 4:45. So if we can find out what happened
Yeah.
between 3 and 4:45 a.m., but there was very little
Yeah.
to go on.
So, was she I had read unresponsive. Did she pass was she later
I
pronounced dead at the hospital?
I think she pronounced dead at the scene because she was
Okay.
found in the back and had suffered severe blunt force injuries. And well, I guess it does say unresponsive, but um, I don't know if that's just semantics because a paramedic or somebody wasn't there to confirm time of death,
Right.
because they would
Right.
have had to taken her to New Hampton Hospital.
Uh-huh.
That would have been the closest one, and that's not far, but it's small. So
Yeah.
it does say unresponsive, but I'm pretty sure that she was murdered at the scene.
Right.
Um, no murder weapon was found. No, they've never come out publicly and said that she was sexually assaulted. So that
Okay.
could be something that they're keeping as only the perpetrator would know that. Uh,
Right.
but no, never publicly has been mentioned that she had been a victim of sexual assault.
Yeah.
And something that I also found was interesting was that robbery was not considered the primary motive.
Right. And so it's interesting because I mean, if they're not releasing the sexual, if there was sexual assault that occurred, they're not releasing it, which makes complete sense. Um, but if robbery wasn't the motive, that would make a lot of people believe that it was personal.
Right. And I know, we've talked about how I grew up across the street from a serial killer.
Yes.
Um, and I know that there is some talk. The serial killer, or, he was convicted and found. His name was Clark Perry Baldwin, but
Mhm.
he was mostly attacking sex workers on the West Coast while he was
Yeah.
driving. And so I don't think it ever got back here to Iowa, because, growing up, his son, I remember seeing his son across the street and stuff. So I never got, I was never close with them or anything, but there was nothing ever that suggested that he was creating these heinous crimes back here in the community.
Right.
So, and I don't even know. I haven't found evidence that suggests that Clark Perry Baldwin was in the area at that time.
So that's the thing that's frustrating me is because when I went online to kind of look into this, the common belief is that he's the one who murdered Rhonda Knudsen. However,
It's like such a cop out.
it is a cop out because yes, he died in custody of a heart thing, whatever. So we'll never know. But he was already admitting to things he did. The
Exactly.
MO doesn't match. He strangled women and left them on the side of the road after picking them up, and their
Right.
bodies were found.
Yeah, this was
And there
gruesome.
was sexual assault.
Yeah.
I mean, this was for sex. Whereas Rhonda Knudsen was beaten at the truck stop, and
Hmm.
we don't know if there's a
And I
sexual
feel
motive
like
to
if it was sexually motivated, like I'm not denying that sexual assault didn't happen because I don't know, but if that were the motive, you would think that it would be more heinous. Like she would have been naked when they found her, her clothes would have been ripped. She would have had,
Right.
like missing pieces of clothing or something that suggested that that was why they were there.
Yeah.
Not to mention that, I mean, that's a weird time to attack somebody between 3 a.m. or 4:45.
Yeah.
It kind of feels like somebody went there for that. Like they knew she was going to be working and they
Yes.
knew that it was going to be quiet. They knew that there wasn't going to be a lot of customers.
Mhm.
And so it just feels like premeditated, like somebody knew the schedule, somebody knew that she was going to be alone.
Yeah. Yes. So I dug deep into the Facebook comments about Clark Perry Baldwin back when he was finally arrested after the 23andMe DNA matched him to a relative. And
Yeah.
I did see that I think it was step family of his. They said that he did beat them. But I didn't see any like sexual assault or and even that, like the people were saying I could believe he beat and murdered these women, but um, it just no one ever said anything about how they thought it was Rhonda Knudsen, basically. And also, I think Clark Perry Baldwin was a little bit later than 1992, right? So, like, wouldn't that be kind of strange to just right out the bat beat somebody to death in a neighboring town?
Yeah. Close, super close.
Like,
And then, yeah. I his crimes never felt sexually motivated or there was never any evidence to suggest, well, I mean those because they were sex workers, yes, but like there wasn't anything to suggest that he had like this particular sexual deviance
mhm,
when talking about like the abuse that he had portrayed towards family.
yeah,
um I didn't see anything publicly come out about like ex-spouses or girlfriends or anything that said that he was aggressive in that manner.
it's
I could have missed some, but
so it was only because I'm friends with a cousin
okay.
of a relative of his. Like, I
Okay.
don't think that was public. I think that I was able to read that, and I don't want I'll tell you who it was later,
Yeah.
um, but I think it was simply because I could see, because I was friends with them or whatever on Facebook. So,
Yeah. It
yeah.
kind of feels Clark Perry Baldwin feels more of like you don't crap where you eat kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like he
Yeah.
kept his stuff away. And everyone
Right.
was like shocked when it did come back to him as those like women on the West Coast because again, like he had beaten some people, he had been physical and violent, but like as far as like actual like rape and murder and like all of the worst kinds of things,
Mhm.
it wasn't. I think
It was
it wasn't around here, Like I feel like my mom would have been like, "Don't walk by his house every day to and from school," you
yeah.
know,
Yeah.
and he never like I don't even remember him ever even being outside and saying something to me. It was like I just watched him come and go from his house at times.
Yeah, and it's weird that okay, again, the population on that year was well of 1992. So I guess we're talking later 90s, so maybe the population was 1,700. Like again, you see people all the time you th I know personally of other people where I was told to stay away from, as a child, so you would just remember that.
Yeah.
But he seemed pretty unremarkable when he
Yeah.
was living in Nashua, like
Yeah, and the composite sketches that came out, I just didn't feel like I know they weren't that good because again, it was 1992 and it was a very
yeah,
different time,
yeah,
but I just think there would have been more. So to me, this either seems like somebody who knew her or
mhm,
somebody who didn't know her at all, which I guess if I'm driving down the road at 3 o'clock in the morning and I need to stop off at the gas station, a 22-year-old woman being the only one working there seems like a pretty low chance of that happening. Like that's
right,
kind of weird in and of itself. Like nowadays, that would not happen.
right,
I feel like nearly as often.
right,
But for somebody, I feel like it was either somebody that showed up, saw an opportunity, and took
mhm,
it, or somebody that had a reason to want her dead from her personal life.
yeah, yeah.
Because there's a lot of emotion in this. I
That's the
mean,
thing, is
you have to have
to
rage to do like, physically cause that kind of trauma.
right, right. Um, alright, are you ready for the people that I talked to
Yeah,
locally?
yes.
Okay, alright, so and yeah, did your parents say anything about it?
I asked them and they were like, "No, we don't know. I don't know anything." But it feels like, again, this was 5 years before I was even born. So,
Yeah,
it feels like at this point, all of the people, like, our parents' age that would have been, kind of, like, young in their young
mhm,
like, my parents would have been younger than I am now. It just feels like
yeah,
this has been such a scar on the community for so long that they kind of chalked it up to never it'll never be solved. We don't know. I don't know.
right,
And I also don't know what kind of evidence they collected at in 1992, but I hope it's enough that someday they'll get a hit
yeah,
because this case and the Mason City case, the reporter from Mason City, I feel like have been
yeah.
really hard on Iowa in general.
Yeah, I actually have, I saw that she scheduled this morning a, medium who works on cold cases, and I asked her if she knew anything about Jody Huisentruit, and she said she hasn't looked into it for a long time, but I'm able to pick her brain about it when I talk to her next month, so
Yeah.
that'll be cool.
And I think it's just because they were such young, beautiful, vibrant women,
I
and it was
know.
like, well, Jody Huisentruit was crazy because she just disappeared, and
Yeah,
Rhonda Knudsen was so violent that it's like, what happened?
yeah, and by all accounts, Rhonda Knudsen was a sweetheart, like,
Yeah,
everybody loved her.
yeah. I couldn't
Not
find
to
that she
say
had any enemies anywhere.
right. Not to say if she was a bee that she deserved that either,
No,
but
but
it's
there
just
no evidence of, like, she was sleeping with somebody's husband or stole money or, like, did something that you think could maybe cause this level of rage because
right.
this is it was violent.
Yeah, yeah. Um, okay,
Right.
so
Fill
alright, so the first one, I'm gonna call him G. So he heard from his cousin who knew Rhonda. Also, yeah, there's, like, I mean, so Rhonda, when she was 22, my sister was 16, so, like, not that far apart in age,
Right.
I don't know. But, this friend of mine, G, like, he had a lot of older siblings too, and he's older than me, so it's, again, this small town area, a lot of people know each other. But he
Mhm.
heard from his cousin who knew Rhonda, so I know it's like a hear from this who heard from this.
Right.
The cousin believes that it was a truck driver, possibly from Ottumwa, who had a regular route from that way up into Minnesota, and he stopped all the time and always creeped Rhonda out. So that's what, like, all of the people who also G's dad used to stop at this gas station a lot too. So it's just a lot of people that knew her, um, were kinda
So, do you know exactly where the rock is that I'm talking about, right?
mhm,
The rock?
yeah.
Was the Phillips gas station where that rock was? Because now, like, 5 feet behind it is a cornfield. Excuse me. So I don't know if it was there or if it was on the other side of the overpass where that building is now, which looks like it could fit a gas station, but
Yeah.
the rock is on the other side, like on the other
So
side of the bridge and the highway.
so I don't think that's the exact location
Okay.
because when this happened, I think Highway 63 was a 2-lane instead of a 4-lane. So
Right.
that overpass is new. It might have happened like where the overpass is and the
Okay.
rock got moved back. I believe if I'm remembering correctly, again, I was young, I believe
Mhm.
that's what happened was
Okay.
it was moved back. So the gas station would have been like right where the overpass
Okay.
is. So
That makes sense because it always felt like it's such a weird location. It to me, even as a kid, I was always like, where exactly was this gas station?
yeah, and because I do remember, like, when they moved it, they made it so nice too compared to the older configuration. I wonder if there's pictures online, I'll have to look. Not configuration, but, just a much nicer memorial to her.
Yeah.
It's like, "Okay, well, if we're gonna have to move it, then" yeah, so, yeah, the gas station for those listening, the gas station was knocked down and, a giant rock was placed there as a memorial and some other things. So I'll if I find pictures, I'll include them.
Mm.
Um, but G made it a point, like you said, it was the only 24-hour gas station between Waterloo and Chester, Minnesota. So it
Gosh.
seems desolate, but at the same time, how many people would she see on a working third shift if that's the only place for truckers to stop in such a large span of time? Like, I feel like a lot would be stopping, but again, this is how many years ago. There was a lot less truckers on the road back then too.
Mhm. That's at 22, that just feels so young to be
Oh
working
my gosh.
overnight at a gas station in the middle of nowhere. I mean,
Yeah.
like, I'm from there, and it's the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
It's even I guess at any age, I would be scared.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Like,
Like
as a woman, already 50% of the population can kill you with their bare hands. So,
right.
it
Right.
is terrifying that
It
this
is.
was the norm, and I'm not saying, like, her parents messed up or she did something wrong. That was just, like, the norm. That's just what you
Yeah.
did. People hitchhiked too.
Right. And also, like, again, with this population and everyone knowing everyone, there's a trust there. I remember this was brought up when Molly Tibbetts was murdered. Like, a stranger approaches you and you talk to them here in small town Iowa
Oh, Iowa
because
nice is such a thing. Be nice.
yes.
Be nice.
Yep.
And I
And unfortunately, it gets you killed, you
yeah,
know?
maybe be a little meaner.
Yeah. And of course, we're not trying to victim blame for people being nice. It's just unfortunately, the world is a
It's
cruel
what we're
place.
taught as Iowans, like, I know
Mhm.
the first time I went to New York City, people are, like, mad if you say hi to them on the street,
The
And
fuck you
but,
talking to
like,
me for?
here, it's you're stuck up if you don't say hi,
Yeah.
and it's
Yeah.
like, I mean, what's so wrong with everyone just minding their own business?
Yeah. I know even guys that get pissy if they say hi and somebody doesn't say hi to them back, which
Oh, and
is
if someone doesn't hold the door for you as you're coming out of a building,
yeah.
I'm like, "Well, there's a line of 20 people, and I got shit to do. I
Yeah.
can't stand here for 4 minutes and hold this door." But
Yeah.
no, I'm a dick.
Yeah. Yep.
That's Iowa.
That is Iowa. All right. So the next one, this person, he's
Mm,
gonna go by Jay. He knew Rhonda personally, was close in age to her, grew up in the same area. He believes it was the law enforcement ex-boyfriend, and I'm gonna be very generic on who he worked for,
mhm.
because this person actually was very, adamant about not his identity not being revealed, but okay, so this law enforcement ex-boyfriend, he said, used to date her, and as he was set to marry his fiancée, he tried to win Rhonda back, but Rhonda rejected him, which made him mad, and he started stalking her. The
And we're
person
assuming this is a firsthand, like Rhonda told this person that.
she did.
Sorry,
She
what are we
did tell
calling
this
him? Not
huh?
G. What are we calling him?
Jay. Yeah.
Jet. So
So
Rhonda
Rhonda
J personally, law
yes.
enforcement is shocking me.
Yes.
Okay.
So, so the person that Jay told me it was, he has 2 brothers also in law enforcement, but in surrounding jurisdictions.
Okay.
So, l same county if it's, like, a different, title, or neighboring county if it's the same title. That's all I'm gonna say because I don't want my life to get, messed up because apparently that was a problem. I've heard from Jay, and I heard from multiple threads online, which take that as you will, that it was turned in at the time that it was this person, and then the law enforcement harassed them. So Jay said that a week before Rhonda was killed, Rhonda told him that she was terrified of this man, and he can still see the scared look on her face to this day.
Oh
And
God, that's horrible.
it's very upsetting because he's
It's
like,
really
"I've tried."
upsetting
Yeah.
because it's not, I mean, okay, this happened in 1992. We're 25 years later, 20, however many years later, and this is still a problem. Women saying I'm scared and nobody
Yeah,
doing anything because nothing's been done.
right. And I don't wanna bash on law enforcement here, but it's just interesting. And then Jay said people came forward during the investigation and they were harassed by deputies. Chickasaw County made sure it was covered up. Now, these deputies and all these law enforcement officers are retired or damn close to it.
Right.
And I don't want anything to go back on Chickasaw County now or anything like that, but
Yeah.
I think when you have all these people from surrounding towns pointing at law enforcement
Hmm.
and it never being solved, and then people claiming that they're getting harassed by law enforcement for turning this officer in, I think that's a problem.
Yeah. Yeah. To be afraid to say what you know because of the power that that person has.
Yeah. So when I was talking to Jay, he was like, "Well, I saying something to Chickasaw County doesn't matter, you know." And so every website you go, it says contact Chickasaw County if you know anything about this case. But I gave him the Iowa cold case number and uh, Brenna Bird's number that she put online, and so that's where he's going with that.
Yeah.
Whether anything will get done, I don't know.
I don't know either, but I will say whoever did this, if they're still alive, now that social media influencers, just people like you and me who have a camera and access to the internet, are bringing these cases back to life
Hmm.
and DNA is becoming more of a thing, I would be scared shitless if I
Yeah,
was the perpetrator here
yeah,
because it feels like all of these unsolved things are getting closer and closer to being solved every day, even though we're out like 30 years.
yeah. Right, because there's a pressure that we can put on these people that couldn't be put on them before. So, yeah, what I'm hearing from Jay, that's not solid evidence. That's hearsay. "Oh, she told me she was afraid of him.
But it's
She
a
was."
first, I mean, that's pretty it's firsthand account. Like we have to give credit. We have to give credit to that.
Yeah. At least question the guy because he
Yeah.
is still alive. Um,
Yeah. Cause
so
like if something happened to you, I would be so annoying about this until your
oh,
friend,
yeah.
you know,
Oh,
like
yeah.
I can't imagine what her friend is feeling because
Right.
just you would want to bash your head into the wall.
Yeah. You know, and then also now, like you said, we do have cameras. So if law enforcement is harassing you, you can start recording it, you
Yeah.
know, like
Yep. And
to
body
prove
cam
it.
footage, I think, is
Hmm. Right.
very important.
Right. So yeah, I just have like some general things that people said online that I've already kind of covered. Comments online for the most part say it was not Clark Perry Baldwin. It was the law enforcement officer ex-boyfriend. Some
Which those
claimed
seem to be the biggest suspects, correct?
what's that?
Like, those seem to be the two top ones.
Yeah. Clark Perry Baldwin is the biggest recognized suspect by law enforcement.
Because it's easy. A serial
Exactly.
killer in rural Iowa who lived 15 miles away.
Yeah, the
That
sentiment was
wouldn't that
basically
be
like
great
case
if
closed.
that right, wouldn't that be great if that were that simple?
Right.
Just
Yeah.
don't think it was.
No. There are others that claim to know the murderer or claim to be related to him, and he's been turned into Chickasaw County, and they did nothing or dropped the ball. Like, that's comments online from anonymous people. So, and then someone else said that it was someone local who lived in Fredericksburg at the time. And that's,
Super vague.
yep.
Just like to
So,
be there at 3 a.m., between 3 and 4 a.m. Like, that's such
yeah.
a weird time to me because you have to, like, you would have to get out of bed to go do that unless you were already driving through or on shift.
Yeah.
You were a cop driving around,
Yeah.
and this was a murder with passion.
Yeah. Or an angry stalker. That's what I have for that. Oh yeah, we are running out of time already. So I can run through the updates
Yeah,
on the other cases real quick if you'd like.
yeah.
Okay. Vance Bolter, the one who murdered the Minnesota lawmakers, he faces state and federal charges, and prosecutors have been weighing the death penalty in the federal case. As of last month, the decision for that is still under review by the U.S. Attorney and Justice Department, with a target for resolution around Labor Day this year. He faces life sentences in state court, and a civil lawsuit was filed against him by the Hoffman family. Tyler Robinson, Charlie Kirk's alleged murderer, faces aggravated murder charges, has not yet entered a plea, and prosecutors announced they will seek the death penalty. I didn't realize he hadn't entered a plea yet.
I don't think so because it got pushed back, and then a lot of things got changed. But
Yeah.
something makes my stomach hurt when I think about this kid being sentenced to death for this, because it's just the math ain't math in here.
Yeah. His defense filed documents questioning the evidence, and an ATF report indicated the fatal bullet at the autopsy could not be matched to the rifle allegedly linked to Robinson. But I do want to point out that the bullet was too degraded to match to any rifle. That
Yeah,
doesn't mean that it nullified the
right.
rifle.
It's
That,
inconclusive.
yeah. No trial date set. Cameras are allowed in the courtroom for the entirety.
That's
Um,
huge.
yeah.
That's
Yes.
huge because we haven't seen that since, I don't even know what was the last
I
big
don't
case
know.
that allowed OJ.
I know. I was thinking OJ. I always think OJ
Like,
for
because
for a
Diddy was big, but they didn't allow court case
right.
cameras.
What about the Murdaugh trial?
Well,
Which,
that just got an appeal. That just got the Supreme
yeah,
Court overturned that conviction. But I mean, but with that, I still don't think that he'll ever get out of prison because there's so much against him. But
yeah.
yeah, they can't like. I don't. I don't
I,
think they have had
I could.
cameras.
I haven't. I don't think I have. I've seen like photos. I think, and like
Yeah,
maybe him
no
entering it.
videos.
Yeah,
Which is crazy. I mean, that just makes me mad because like this man is clearly a monster. He's not getting out of prison. Why are we wasting everyone's time and money on this?
I know. I know, and that's again the money thing is
Yeah, like
what
come on.
bothers
This
me.
is and Tyler Robinson's was pushed out far, and now it's pushed out again till like September.
Yeah. Which, like, I knew best case scenario, it was going to start this month. That's what Erica Kirk had said. So I wasn't expecting it really to happen anytime soon. But
Yeah, and we say this innocent until proven guilty, but are you really innocent until proven guilty if you're stuck in prison while you're waiting
that's,
trial?
and that's the thing is, that's going to change you.
Yeah,
Like, what if you're innocent and you've been sitting and I'm not saying that he is, I'm just saying in general, if you're innocent and you're in prison awaiting trial, that doesn't really feel like you're innocent until proven guilty. And what's going to happen to you in the meantime while you're in there?
right.
You're already serving a sentence while
Yes,
you're
and then
waiting.
you have a right to a speedy trial, sure, but then with that, you also have to forfeit some things because of how fast you're trying to get it to move along. So,
Yeah. And I guess if I were Tyler Robinson, I would not want to forfeit those things.
right, you want to
If
yeah, you want to get a jury trial. You want to get this to take
mhm.
as much time as it needs. You want your defense attorney to build as good of a case as it can. And at the same time, you're a young man whose
Yeah.
life is put on hold indefinitely.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's hard, especially because there is just some evidence that doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
I don't think every part of this case is going to make sense. I think even when Tyler Robinson is or is not found guilty and locked up for life, I think we're still going to have a lot of unanswered questions.
Absolutely.
I
Yeah.
mean, it's very like JFK assassination esque, where like, sure, we put a
Yeah.
pin in it, and now we put that in history. But as we get further away from it, people are starting to question a lot more.
Which did you hear that the CIA took JFK and MK Ultra files out of Tulsi Gabbard's office? She was set
What?
to release more, and the CIA confiscated 40 boxes related
Mm,
to the CIA and
that's
J
because
or
CIA
related
has
to MK
something to do
Ultra
with
and
it.
JFK. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
pretty fucked, huh?
Yeah.
So I need an update on that when I get time. Last I saw, there wasn't an update, and they weren't returned in time because Congress, what is it? The House Oversight Committee has filed for. They've requested those files, and
Mhm.
then so Tulsi Gabbard, the director of national intelligence, was preparing the files for release, and then the CIA took them this past week. So we'll see if there's an update. That was just a few days ago, so they were supposed to be back already, though.
It's unfortunately, we are supposed to be a country where the government is pretty transparent, but it's just a country where the government is full of powerful people who
Yeah.
only give you a fraction of the information.
Yep.
And again, as we get access to, there's 7 billion or 8 billion people in the world, and we have access to almost all of them, and we're seeing what they're doing in their daily lives every single day.
Yeah.
So as we have that information and we're comparing it to what the government is telling us and it's not adding up, things are going to start changing. Things are going to get weird. And I think like my kids especially are going to grow up in a country unlike
Yeah.
unlike we've ever seen. Because when our grandparents were kids, it was like, oh, the president said this, so that's what we're going to do, and we're going to be patriotic, and we're going to be
Right.
diplomatic, and we're going to be just like good old fashioned America.
Yeah.
And now it's happening now, but like as my kids grow up, they're going to be like, I don't trust the government. They've
Yeah.
lied to us for our entire existence. All the shit is fake. They're watching our every move. And I can't really
Yeah.
say that they're wrong.
And what would you rather have almost? The ignorant bliss or to, this
You
entire
know,
mess, and at least you can fight the corruption kind
the
of.
the blissful ignorance, I feel like just delays what is happening now. And as technology and just like lay people become more intelligent and get more of a platform,
Yeah.
because 50 years ago, someone like Charlie Kirk would have never, he wouldn't have ever had a platform. People wouldn't have ever
Yeah.
known about him.
Right.
And
Right.
so it kind of was just delaying the inevitable. So I don't know if I prefer for my kids to be in a generation where they feel safer and are blissfully ignorant, or if they're aware and scared. But
Yeah.
I think
We don't have that option anyways.
we
That's
don't
not.
have that option. And it's, I don't know. It's, would you rather
Yeah.
bury your head in the sand? Because realistically, to you and me, it doesn't really matter, right? We're just
Right.
like, to most of America, it matters, but it doesn't matter because we're not the people on the news. We're not the people directly signing these bills.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's hard to say what I would hope for, but I think now at least people are starting to hold other people more accountable.
Yeah.
And we have we have a lot of catching up to do, but maybe by the
Yeah.
time I have grandkids, things will be a little more figured out.
Yeah.
I also think technology came so far so fast recently that people don't even know what to do with themselves. Like politicians didn't even, I mean,
Oh my
like
gosh, I know.
people, deleting emails off computers and thinking if you shut your phone off that like everything goes away. And it's like that's
Yeah.
just your digital footprint is your digital footprint and the cloud holds everything. So
Yeah. Yeah. I
it's
I
I don't
prefer
know.
the time we're in now, I suppose.
Yeah, I like the information. Maybe it's
I'd
because
rather
I'm
be awake.
busy, but
Yeah.
yes, that's a good way to put it. I'd rather be awake.
Yeah. All right, I have one last thing, not a
Okay.
biggie. David DePate, Paul Pelosi's attacker.
Mhm.
I don't I feel like I didn't pronounce the P. David DePape. Um, in December, DePape appealed his federal conviction and sentence to the Ninth Circuit, and back in March, the Ninth Circuit upheld his conviction and sentence. So,
Obviously, it's on camera. Like, this is what I mean. We got body cam footage, bro. We know what happened. He went to his
yeah,
house and tried to murder him with a hammer
yeah,
and
yeah,
was, like, shockingly close to doing it.
yeah. Again, that's just wild. But,
Yeah. I guess the devil you know, because then you can be prepared, huh?
yep, yep. So, all right, that wraps up our episode. Is there anything? I guess, do you have any idea what's going on next month or
I don't know. We'll
anything?
see. We'll see what's coming out. There's a lot of new true crime stuff coming out, a lot of things in the headlines.
Mhm.
I think now that the summer's starting to hit, things are going to start moving a little quicker.
Yeah.
So,
All right. Well, everyone, thank you for being here. And until next time.
see you later.